Hello, everybody. Is it time? Show 17, titled Foods You Will Not Eat. So, what does that mean? Well, it means just that. What kind of foods would you not eat and why? I couldn't put all that in the title. So, there you go. What do you think? It's not 17 foods you would not eat. It's show 17, comma. I should start putting some punctuation in my titles, don't you think? Maybe, because that is kind of weird. I looked at that and said, well, maybe I should put some punctuations in there. Then there's 17 shows. I have to go back and put it in all those other shows. The titles, because I want them all to look the same. One thing that kind of drives me crazy about other YouTube channels is there's not a lot of consistency in the way they're titled or put together. Every once in a while I'll go through and update my playlists. Does that focus better if I'm over here? Turn this way. But so playlists I think are big. So that way if you want to watch all the live stuff, let me turn that down a little bit. Let's get a little cozy. What do you think? Is it good and cozy? So far, it's one more. Ooh. What do you think? Too much? Oop. There. What do you think? That's better. So far, there's one person? Oh, no. One person. But that's okay. One person could call in and we could have a nice conversation and not even worry about it. So let me just get ready. So last time I don't know, I didn't do everything that I needed to do to set up a phone call because I had tested it and then it didn't really. So right now I think I've got it set up so if someone were to call, let's scoot over this way. I have a hard time, my phone is having a hard time picking me up and keeping me in focus. I don't know why. That didn't help at all, did it? Still goes wee. But anyway, to take a phone call and then put it in the stream so y'all can hear it and I can talk to the person. So hopefully somebody will call and to talk to them. Go here to YouTube, see who's participating with me. It just shows the people in the chat, but nobody has said hello. So I can't stand it. I gotta get over here. I'll be the first to break the ice. Hello. How are you? Doing good. Thank you for asking. Two participants. Just me. It just shows me. How come there be two when it's just me? There should be three. Me. Huh. Me, myself, and I. Let's see if I can straighten up my camera. Whoa. Whoa. That way, this way. Eh, there it is. Where'd my phone go? Is that the phone? That's the phone. Alright. So, I've often heard people say that they won't eat rutabagas. You know, and why wouldn't they eat rutabagas? I don't know. They'd always say, well, I don't know. I don't know why I won't eat rutabagas, but they won't. So a lot of times they just say, it's the texture. I don't like the texture. What does that mean? What does it mean by saying I don't like the texture? But, you know, it is, some people, you could just say, oh, I don't like the taste of rutabagas, or I don't like the taste of this or that. You know, some people are honest and say, I don't like the texture. So, fruit, vegetables, you know, that kind of stuff, they don't like the texture. I don't particularly like the texture or taste of raw oysters. Now, I don't eat them a lot. In fact, I think I've really only had true on the half shell raw oysters once. And, the trick is hot sauce, put them in your mouth and swallow them as fast as you can. But put it in your mouth. You have to chew it once or twice. And I was in Florida, so supposedly they were fresh. And one of the things that made them fresh was there was sand in them. Yep. So I ate oysters on the half shell, and they were crunchy because they had sand in them. Now I didn't die. Hey, there's Robert. Hey, Robert. Obviously I didn't die because I'm here today with you, and I know you're happy about that. And so, but I mean, you know, I wouldn't rush out to a raw bar and eat raw oysters again. I mean, I would try them again, or now I eat them, love them fried, deep fried, or batter fried, or those kind of things. But you know, I don't know. I just don't particularly like the way they are on the half shell, raw. You know, but if somebody said, "Hey, I'll go out and let's split a dozen of oysters on the half shell," I might say, "Well, okay." So, what makes people have a food aversion? And that's a big word, food aversions. And the reason I use the big word, food aversion, is because that's what the scientist people call it. And it's usually in toddlers, infants, that kind of stuff. So if you do have kids, or you've got grandkids, or you've got nieces or nephews that you've taken care of, or been to their birthdays, or all that kind of stuff, when they're real little, I noticed this a lot when my kids were young, everything is pureed because they don't have teeth, they can't chew. It's all just mush, man. It's just terrible. But I've tasted some of it. You have to. Haven't you ever ate a doggy biscuit? I know there's people out there like, huh? Why would you eat a dog biscuit? I mean, I don't eat them on a regular basis, but when you're young and dumb and full of curiosity, you're just like, ah, that ain't so great, you know? But anyway, you know, when kids are young and you're feeding them this food, you think, I wonder what that tastes like. It's just like, You take a little taste, and it just tastes like pureed junk. But a lot of times, kids have a favorite. Sweet potatoes and cream cheese. I don't know. I can't remember all the names of these crazy foods that they make children's stuff out of, but they're all the little cans, little jars are all pureed. It's just, man. And every once in a while, you'd come across a food like, rhubarb and, grapeseed. I don't know. And you would dip it in there and you have a little baby and you whoop, and they would just take a bite and there it would come. It would just roll right back out of their mouth, and they'd get this big old look on their face like, no, my gosh, what in the devil did you just feed me? And it was funny, but they didn't like it. Was it the texture? Was it the taste? It couldn't have been the texture because everything's pureed. But they didn't like the taste. So, the food aversion, I guess, kind of springs from that. And maybe scientists talk about it in toddlers because they, maybe toddlers will stop eating grapes, or, they won't eat their peas and vegetables anymore. That kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't experience it, like I said, myself, because I like almost all kinds of food. I've had people say, they won't eat raw tomatoes, like you'd slice and put on a hamburger. Or they won't eat bananas. Or, something similar. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but there's a fruit out there that's pretty native to South, is a pawpaw. And it's kind of like, if you took a sweet potato skin and filled it with, I don't know, man, like yogurt. It's kind of weird. But it's really sweet if you get them just right. The ripeness is very important. You get them just right, they're wonderful. So, but, some people don't like a pawpaw because of the texture, or persimmon. Clell says he loves some pawpaws. Yes, I've got a couple of pawpaw trees growing, but you've got to get them just right. It's like persimmons. Anybody out there that's had or heard of persimmons, my mom's getting ready to make some persimmon pudding. Or pudding. Persimmon pudding. And we went out, and my wife, to our local persimmon tree in the neighborhood, and we started getting persimmons. Now, even more so than pawpaws, you've got to get a persimmon that is just pretty much perfectly ripe, or you're hating life. So we were out there picking them, and they were all soft and they were all gooey. And if you shake the limb, the ones that fall off are usually the ripe ones. If you get them off the ground, they're usually the ripe ones. If you find them on the tree and they're just squishy and they're still kind of really orange, please don't eat it. Because because I had one and it was wonderful. And I'd picked it off the tree and it was soft, just like you thought, well, man, that thing's probably rotten. But it wasn't. It was perfect. So I found another one and I was greedy. Yeah, it was nice and orangey, which really they shouldn't be. They turn bruised purple when they're pretty much ripe. And I popped that thing in my mouth, and it makes my mouth water now thinking about it. I could, after I bit into it and rolled it around in my mouth for just a second, I couldn't spit it out. My mouth was so dry. It was so, whatever chemical is in those persimmons before they're ripe, it just literally feels like it just sucks all the moisture out of your mouth. I couldn't spit it out. The only thing I do is just roll it out with my tongue, and it just fell out onto the ground. I couldn't spit. It was terrible. It lasted 10 minutes. It turned off. It wasn't the max uncomfortableness at first, but it took 10 minutes to wear off. But that doesn't have to do with the texture of it. The texture was fine. It was a stupid me that got it before it was really ripe. So, somebody that's out there, let's see what we got going on here. Wait a minute. One thing I don't have out there is a reminder that this is what you need to do. Give me a call. Let's try this out. I'm 99.75% sure I've got this phone line thing worked out. So, give me a call. Let's see if this works. And tell me if you personally, or you know somebody. Like I said, today somebody told me they wouldn't eat tomatoes raw, like you'd slice them, put them onto a hamburger. But they would eat, spaghetti sauce. They eat tomato products all day long. And they would eat salsa. But they would not eat chopped up or sliced or just raw tomatoes. Now, when I was a kid, you could go out, and of course everybody still does. They have a garden, but not everybody will eat a tomato like an apple. And that's what we would do. We would go out, get us a tomato, and always have salt. I don't know, tomatoes and salt. There's another thing. Remind me about watermelons here in a minute. Anyway, we would just get tomatoes and take the first bite, just because, you've got to open it up, and then salt, just like eating an apple, man. And eat pretty much the whole tomato, except of course where the vine, comes out. So, I love tomatoes. I'll eat just about anything, but a lot of people won't. And watermelons, not everybody eats watermelon with salt. Why is that? Watermelon and salt. I don't know how else you would eat them, just watermelon. So, there's 4 people out there. Clell, he tried calling last time. You could try again. I'm pretty sure I got it worked out so people can hear you. Robert, I know you're on the D&D show, but you've never held the spotlight on your own. You could give me a call. Tell me something you or somebody you know doesn't want to eat. Clell says cross between a mango and banana. Oh, somebody's. Yeah, you're talking about pawpaws? No, I don't. I had the opportunity. My father-in-law was here, and he brought. I don't know why. Oh, somebody's calling. Well, let's see. I hope we can hear this. Let's answer it.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voice voicemail, press 2.
Okay. Hello?
What's up, Mylo?
Hey. So let's see if
Hey,
Robert
can you
will
hear
tell
me?
us. Well, I can hear you. Robert says he can hear it. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, a hell of a lot better than what we did last time, eh?
Yeah, that's
So,
a cool deal.
what do you or do somebody that you know have food that they won't eat because it's just the texture? You know what I mean? It's tell me that you hate it. Tell me that you just can't
Well,
stand the
I
taste.
think it's my wife's. Stacy, she won't eat scallops, and we just saw this earlier on the Hell's Kitchen TV show. They were cooking scallops, and it is one thing she will not eat, mainly because of the texture.
So
But on the other hand, I like them.
now, see, I always wondered if you say she says it's the texture. Could you find something
Right.
that's similar? I mean, I don't know what Does she eat catfish? Does she eat regular fish? Scallops. I know scallops kind of have like a, I don't know, man. It's almost like a rubbery kind of thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, if they're overcooked, they are. If they're cooked right, I mean, I think they're great. But most times in restaurants, you get them, they're kind of overcooked and rubbery. But I mean, I still eat them.
Well, have you ever had? I think they call it calamari, but it's squid. Have you ever ate squid?
Yeah, we've had that before too, and she's
It,
not a fan of that either, just because of what it is.
right, right.
But I'm like you. I'll eat about anything except green beans. I hate green beans. I always have. And I don't know. It's not a texture thing. It's just a I don't know a flavor thing, and the idea of eating a green bean. I just don't like them. But other stuff, I'll eat that she won't. Old people, old timers used to eat like scrapple and a lot of people in the South, the dirty South as they call it, like hoghead South. Uh, I grew up on that, and she won't touch it. It's just, it's terrible for her, but I like it.
So, do you think could you disguise it in something else, like a stew or a soup, or I don't know, like remember you used to get, and you still get it, not just like you used can, but still can, uh, deviled ham, and it usually comes in a can, and it's got the white grease on it, and you mix it up and spread it out like just like butter, like you would potato salad, or not potato salad, but chicken salad or egg salad on a sandwich, but it was deviled ham and it come in a can. Do you think you could sneak it in
Yeah.
on her? Do you think she would immediately recognize it as being souse or whatever?
Oh, well, not now. Once she sees this, probably not, but
She won't watch this. She's got better things to be doing.
no, she won't trust me on anything now.
Yeah. It's just like, here, honey, try this. This is, chocolate
Yeah.
pie. Oh, no.
It's
This
just
ain't
like,
chocolate pie.
deviled ham, and to me, it's like a real fancy version of potted meat,
Well, yeah, it
and
is.
I eat potted meat, but,
Right.
it's, but I still eat it.
I I have take stuff for lunch at work. Always have. Now where I work, we go out on Thursdays and eat. Just everybody gets together on Thursday. But anyway, uh, to find different stuff to take to food, to eat, I go to the dollar store some, and I'll get some of that old stuff. Old stuff, the stuff that you'd eat when you was a kid, and it's not nearly as good now as it was, when you're 7 or 8. Deviled ham being one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Potted meat. Uh, but yeah, I still went to Food City the other day and bought a big old pack of thick bologna and have been eating on it. But I don't know, the texture of things. I mean, like I said, oysters are just. It's not that I wouldn't eat them. It's just not my favorite. Raw oysters, but I mean, any kind of fish or anything like that. I've had the squid, and it was a little chewy, I guess, but it wasn't bad.
Oh yeah.
Now, the things I had, we went to South Carolina. Nope, Myrtle Beach. We were at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and went to one of those seafood places, and it was like Drunken Jack's or one of those places there near Murrells Inlet, and they had, I guess, calamari, but they were little squid. I mean, when they just like must dip these things in batter and throw them in the fryer because they come out with like the little tentacles and the body, and they're
Right.
all they're all
That's
kind
the
of
way I
yeah, and you just
had them.
dip them in ketchup or malt vinegar, whatever you happen to like, and just eat them. I mean, I didn't notice anything really particularly special about them, but yeah, I mean, I'll eat them. But like I said,
Well, being from where we are, I'm a firm believer in you can deep fry most anything; it'll be good. It's not good for you, but it'll turn out okay.
yep. Now see, I'd be one of those people where uh, if you told me that I was going to have a Blue Mountain oyster, I probably wouldn't eat it. If it was on a all you can eat buffet kind of deal, and it was deep fried, and you'd say, "What is that?" And you say, "I don't know, just get one and try it." I'd probably end up trying it just because you couldn't really tell what it was. But
Right.
yeah, I don't think I actually was going to try beef tongue one time, and I got one, and, and of course, the things are as big as your arm almost. I mean, they're just
Right.
huge, and man, I just couldn't bring myself to eat it, because I think you boil them, right? You just put them in there and boil them or something.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have not had. Yeah, I don't know that I would. I'm like you. If I didn't know what it was, I probably would. But have you ever had moose nose jelly?
No,
I
no.
know it sounds disgusting, but it's actually really good. Northwesterners up towards Alaska, Oregon, up in there, they make that stuff, and it's kind of like a sauce, but they make a congealed loaf out of it and slice it, and part of harvesting all of the animal. But it sounds disgusting. It's actually pretty good.
All right. So, do they actually make it out of moose nose?
Yeah, yeah, they cook it render it in a pot like stew sort of, and then they cook all the good out of it or whatever you want to call it, and they reduce it down and blend it up and pour it into a loaf pan and make like a loaf out of it. But, yeah, it's really good. I didn't think I would like it, but since I like hoghead sauce, it's pretty much the same thing.
Hmm. So Robert in the comments says he's no octopus, no mountain oyster, or raw oysters for him. Now, Robert, you don't have to worry about pinching the ends off of an oyster or an octopus. So you could eat them. They're all like soft and squishy. They wouldn't they wouldn't hurt you. You could just go ahead and swallow them. Now, see, when I tried the oysters, I just couldn't help but chew on them once or twice, and that's when they got the sand. But I didn't throw them up or anything, and I didn't have a whole bunch. I just tried a couple, but I just don't think I'd ever go back to that. But you throw some hot sauce in there, and it
Well,
kind of
if
covers it up.
if you had sand in it, then they weren't cleaned properly. The ones I've had that, and you can doctor them up and everything you like, a little hot sauce and lemon and whatever, but a little conny sauce or something on them. But I like raw oysters, but the mistake is don't chew them too much.
Right.
I always been told bite once, chew once, and swallow. But a lot of people water them around a little too much, and it makes them sick.
So, if you were to go, where would you buy some raw oysters around locally that you would trust to eat?
Probably Green Seafood. They run a truck twice a week to the coast,
Right.
and they pretty much everything they have is fresh. So if you want really fresh oysters straight from the coast, I would go there.
Would you go to Food City and buy a can of smoked oysters and eat
No, I tried that once, and that is no. That's a big negative.
So you just don't trust them, or you didn't like them?
They're sort of cooked. If you ever had canned oysters like sardines,
Oh
canned
yeah.
sardines, I love sardines. And canned oysters are similar to that, but that's another texture thing. They taste like a sardine, but now in the jar that you get at Food City, those are cooked in their own brine and they're rubbery. They're not, to me, they're not good.
So when I was telling you about, I go and pick up things at the Dollar General, whatever. I always, not always, I will grab a couple of cans of the kipper snacks, the smoked kipper snacks, and I love
Yeah,
those things. And eat them on crackers with cheese or mustard or whatever. But now it's been a while since I've had true sardines out of the can. But now I'll buy those kipper snacks or Kemper, however you want to say it. How I can't remember which way it is, but I love those things.
yeah, those are good. Yeah, pretty much canned meat. I mean, it's good on the fly if you're like traveling or you're taking something for lunch or whatever. But yeah, the freshness of straight off the grill or something is a lot better, of course.
Right. Now I know you like jerky, so there's a.
Yeah,
I wished I could remember what they call that. And I know you bound to have had some, and you buy it. You still buy it at the grocery store, and it's in a jar. Usually it's in a jar, and they're like thinly sliced. Uh, it's a meat. And it's thinly sliced like sausage, and it's round like sausage. And they roll it up and stick it in this jar, and it's like, is it dried beef or salt treated beef or something like that? But anyway, it's like jerky. You don't have to refrigerate it or anything. You pull it out of that thing, and like one or two little slices is all you can take because it's just like salt. I can't remember what they call that.
I don't think I've ever had that before.
Oh man! But it's in a jar, and like I said, it's just so salty. It's almost like just you know country ham, but it's really thin sliced and it's
Right?
round, like it was put into some type of sausage mold. I don't know what you'd call that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I used to buy that stuff all the time. Now I can't remember what it is, what it's called. Daggone it! Maybe I'll have to try to find a piece of,
Yeah.
or a picture of something.
Well, yeah, if you find something, share it with one here or something. I
it's
wouldn't I
not.
wouldn't mind trying it anyway.
Well, you got to, like I said, it's just like, okay, here's something that I didn't know what it was, and I tried it, and I would never tell you to eat it, but apparently it can be good if it's cooked right. So, have you ever heard of tripe?
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
Right. To me, if you go down again south, South Carolina, around in there, uh, Georgia, um, to me, it's like pig intestine, sort of like chitlins. That's what I've not had any, but I know basically what it is.
Yeah. Well, what I think what it's officially is supposed to be is the lining of a cow's stomach. And so
Oh, okay.
I, I was in a grocery store one day and come across the uh, Mexican section. And I was going through there and saw tripe. I thought, what is that? And I looked at it, and it was like got this high protein, no carb thing, and it's meat. And I thought, I can't remember what it was in. I don't remember if it's in a jar or a can. I think it was in a can, and I bought some and took it, brought it home, and opened it up, and oh my gosh, man, it had just the faintest hint of that acidy puke smell, and I thought, what in the devil did I buy? So I looked it up, and it's cow stomach, and it's rolled up like a scroll, and you unroll it, and it comes out. One side's like velvet painting, the Elvis velvet painting. It just you rub it one way, it's like a cat's tongue. You rub it one way, and it's just really smooth. You rub it the other way, and it's kind of rough and leaves lines. And you flip it over on the other side, and it's just slick, just like meat. But you flip it over again, and that's the lining part. And oh my gosh, it's terrible. I didn't know how to cook it. So I tried different ways. I tried making jerky out of it. I tried frying it. I tried everything. And just like, I don't know. When you were done with chewing it, you got that I just threw up in my mouth a little bit taste. And I just could not eat it. And it supposedly, I think they make it into like a stew or something. I just could not imagine it. It just so if you're out there and you see tripe on the menu or tripe and dumplings, whatever it is, stay the heck away from that, man.
Yeah, a lot of those kind of foods, stem from, hardship. People back in the Depression thing, they've learned how to make use of everything. And it's like my grandpa, he loved pickled pig's feet.
Right?
Now, I don't know if you've ever ate one or not,
Uh-uh.
but it's not worth it. I mean,
Right.
it's like you're eating crab legs, all the work you got to put into it to get a
Right.
piece of crab out of it. Pig's feet are worse than that. And he would buy those things, and we of course we raised our own beef and pork, when I was growing up, so he would pick them. And I'm like, I know where those pig feet have been their whole life, and now you're eating them, So no, I'll pass. I think.
Well, like I said, it just seemed like that would be, and I like a pickled egg. I like pickled stuff, but it just seems like there's not
Oh
enough,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you said, there's not enough meat there for the work. I've never eaten one. I've seen them,
right.
but it's like, you know, I just don't see it. I just don't.
There's
But
a little there, and it's worth a try one time to say you did
right,
it. and you can buy them actually in the store. And there's a little bit there to be had, but it's literally making use of every part of the animal if
Right.
you're eating those things.
So my grandfather loved the neck, chicken neck, and
Oh yeah.
if you had chicken or a turkey, anything that he could get the neck, that was his deal, right? So if we had, Thanksgiving turkey, he would have the neck, and it just it's like, man, there ain't nothing there. Why do you like the chicken, the turkey neck? Because it's just like nothing there.
Yeah, you gnaw on it pretty much and get a little bit off of it, but that's about it. But,
So Robert sent me a picture, but I don't. What'd you send me, Robert? Oh, wait a minute. He sent me a picture of. Let me get my seeing eyes on. Okay, that's it. Robert's out there doing work, bud. He's out there doing work. Armor ground. It's made by Armor. It is ground and formed, sliced, dried beef, 95% fat free, and it's in a little vacuum packed jar. So when you pop the lid on it, it makes that sound, But they're rolled up, and they are as salty as the Dead Sea. You got to try some of those things. But it's made, I guess it's Armor Hammer. I mean, I don't know. That's what he sent me was that Armor dried beef. And I think the time that we went bike camping, that we camped, I think I took some of that because, like I said, it doesn't need refrigerator. It's like jerky in a jar, you know?
Oh yeah.
And,
And can you get it like at Food City or
oh, yeah.
major
Yeah.
retailers?
Yep. Sure enough.
I think I'll try some of that. For sure.
don't act like you just found your next you know Thanksgiving dinner meat, because it's kind of rough. But like I said, if you take it camping or something like that, it's really good. But you can't stand to eat a bunch of it. But
Yeah, that's a food quest. I tell you what, you do some pig's feet, and I'll do some of that, and then we'll compare. Uh, but there's another food that I just happened to think of. Have you ever tried durian fruit?
durian fruit, is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah, durian. It's I think a Asian type fruit. It looks like a big spiky kind of melon looking thing.
Well, now
Uh,
that's kind of strange, and I don't know if it is. Here, Robert wants me to hold this thing up. Let me see if you can. There you go, people. Look at the stream. Maybe Armor Hammer will sponsor me, and we can all have some. That's what it is. And if you can look inside the jar, you
okay.
see the little slices. But now,
Okay, all right.
back to the guy I work with, the guy that played music, Landon. He's got a buddy, and they're ordering. I don't think he's here on the stream, but they're ordering some kind of fruit, and he was all about it. It was all healthy and all this other kind of stuff. And for some reason, it may be that. I don't know. He said he was having to order it from some country and get it shipped in, and he'd try to get him or his friend online to talk about it. But no, go ahead and tell me about which one you're talking about.
Well, it's kind of like a jackfruit, but it's a little more intense, well, a lot more intense actually. But a durian, it depends on your flavor profile on how you taste things, whether you can handle it or not. The locals where it's from, they call it the corpse fruit because it
Oh,
smells like a dead body to some people,
really?
and it makes a lot of people throw up just to even smell it, let alone eat it. But other people love it, and I'm on a quest. I'm gonna try some. So if that's what they have, I want to see what they think about it. But if you go on any like food blogs or anything, watch any of those Asian markets, you'll see that. And Westerners don't do well with it.
Huh. All right. Well, I'll have to ask him. Type it into the comments there what the name of it is. So if he watches it, I'll tell him just to skip through to the end or something and see if this is what he was talking about. I told him about you actually told me about this. Uh, I don't guess it's a fruit. It's a tree. Remember, it looked like a brain, and you said you had a tree next when you lived out and had goats, and it looks like a brain.
Oh, oh yeah, like hedge apples.
Hedge apples, right? I was telling him about how funny those things
Yeah, I
look
think
and
they're
everything.
actually called the Osage orange. I think it's what they're called. But everybody that grows up around them has been around them. They're hedge apples, and yeah, those things are. I've tasted one. They say they're mildly toxic, but I've not died yet. Trying them.
No, are you
But
sure? You sure
I
that's
tell
not
you,
what
they are
happened to you?
awesome. Well, yeah, I think. But I think you and I talked one time before. If you're looking for a really good wood stain to stain wood
Right,
with,
right.
get you some of those and put them in a pot and cook them, and it makes a gorgeous stain for wood because it turns it like a mahogany color.
Huh. Okay. Well, we've been on here 47 minutes. I'm glad it worked out this time and it didn't cut you off. Now, I don't know, something's going on with my internet. I, I had to reboot my router before all this started, but it seems like it was pretty good. Robert, you've been sitting out there the whole time. Has it been pretty stable? Maybe he'll tell me, or maybe he went to the bathroom. I don't know.
Have you had tried like three-way or four-way calling on it yet?
No. What I mean, technically, I wanted originally to get people in here on the camera so that we could talk and see. He says it's a little choppy at first. I guess it's okay now. Uh, yeah, I had to. I mean, I was testing earlier how to get the phone to work, and I ran a constant little thing with my phone, bringing it in anyway. And I noticed it was kind of choppy, so I went down and restarted my router, hoping that would help. But back to no, this is other than when I tested with my wife, this is the first time it's ever actually worked. And so, I mean, but the original premise of the show was to get people on camera so that we could talk and see each other and that kind of stuff. But if people are more comfortable or they can't do a camera, uh, hopefully this would work. And it seems to do pretty good. Uh, I'd like to try to find a
Yeah,
way to put up just like I don't know, because it's still just me and people are seeing just me. And if I share the actual screen, it's, you know, uh, there's nothing to look at but, numbers, a telephone call, whatever. But anyway, but I'll have to ask Landon on what that
yeah.
was. And if he watches the stream, you can just skip to the end and look at that. So I see where you typed it in there. But I have to get you on here. You
Uh,
can play
I
music.
think I spelled that um, Yeah, I think I spelled that right. I'm not sure, but yeah, as far as the music thing goes, yeah, maybe we can do that. I got to get a camera, which I have a tablet that's got a camera on it, but it doesn't work as well as the computer does. So I'm still behind technology on cameras and things like that. So maybe I'll get there.
Well, I actually just asked around, and uh, I happened to find my father-in-law had an old iPhone 6. I think that's what this thing is, and hooked it up to the computer, and that's the camera. Everything that I've done, and it's like I'm cheap as a paper dress, but all the software and everything I'm using currently has been free. I haven't bought really anything. So there's free software if you have an old cell phone, uh, or if somebody would give you an old cell phone that you can convert and run an extra piece of software on your computer that will take it from USB or Wi-Fi. The one piece of software I was using before, it you had to have your computer, if you're using a laptop, to the Wi-Fi and the phone to the same Wi-Fi, and then they talk to each other, and you got your video through just that phone. And I mean that's you know might be a cheap way to get it, on there. But anyway, so I've been on here 51 minutes. That's pushing it.
Okay,
But I
I'll let
appreciate
you
you
go.
calling, and we'll try to get you on. And like I said, you don't have to sing if you can't get somebody to sing. What I think would be cool is, if you had a camera, you could just get on here and say, this is the G chord, and this is the way it is, and this is the way you pick it, or this is the way you strum it, and just kind of show, just a few techniques, and how you might put those things together and make a rhythm or a little what do they call it, a riff or something. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
right, yep. All righty then. I appreciate you calling. Let me. I guess what I'll do is hang you up and say goodbye on the stream, and that'll be the end of it.
Okay.
All right, thanks. So I didn't get to hung up on me. That ain't fair. Thanks for everybody that looked. Thanks for anybody that might be thinking they're going to watch. Watch it, like it, subscribe to it. Tell me if you hated it. Tell me if you liked it. Send me some comments. Let me know what I could do worse. Let me know what I could do better. All right. Thanks, everybody. Until Monday.